Over 7 million species of different animals and other creatures live on our planet. And how strange it is to realize that all this diversity appeared, once upon a time, from some unicellular organisms. Some creatures of our planet have such an unusual appearance, and possess such strange abilities, that they make us wonder, did some mystical dark forces take part in their creation? Here are top 10 bizarre and scary animals around the world. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button, to get notified every day for more amazing content. Oyster toadfish. Not many fish have the ability to make sounds, and even more so there are not many fish that can make sounds that are painful to the human ear. But we found one for you, and it's called the oyster toadfish. It's capable of making sounds that make your blood run cold, a terrible rattle, a hoarse, groans, and even a buzz. Thus that shows the rest of the fish the territory is already occupied, because it is hunting. Here it doesn't want others there, so the fish hints as clearly as possible with the sounds, to make unwanted guests disappear. If you get very close to the fish, the sound that it makes can reach a mark above 100 decibels. Feelings are about the same as if you stood close to a motorcycle. While the oyster toadfish is small, it reaches a maximum of 43 centimeters in length and still sounds very frightening. Cory monkeys. Cory monkeys are different from other monkeys. Cory monkeys didn't leave such a solitary lifestyle. They would very quickly become outcasts in the monkey society. Why? Well, because they don't have long tails. But this is just half the problem. Though Cory monkeys greatly damage the reputation of all other monkeys, because they aren't cute at all. The entire body of the animal, like in its other relatives, is covered with thick hair, but the muzzle is very different. It's red and naked, as if the monkey were sick with something terribly dangerous and infectious. But don't worry, that new Cory monkeys are absolutely healthy. But how do we know that? Well, the fact is that the red skin on its face is a clue. If the color is saturated and creepy, then the animal is healthy. But if the eeriness is gone and the muzzle is turned pale, then the monkey is feeling unwell and most likely is sick. All this gives us reason to believe that some dark forces are involved in the creation of Cory monkeys that live on the South American continent. Goblin shark. When the first time people learned about the existence of the shark in 1897, when it was caught for the first time off the coast of Japan, and something tells us that the fisherman who was fortunate enough to make this discovery didn't get off with nothing than a fright, because if we were to catch such a monster, we definitely would have had a heart attack. The goblin shark is a unique type of shark that lives at a depth of over 200 meters underwater. It's amazing that, although humankind is known about the existence of this shark for quite some time, there are only about 45 specimens known to science. If you've ever seen a goblin shark, you will never forget about it. It's soft like a decrepit body, hiding strong muscles under the skin. It has a horrible face, scary eyes, and retractable jaws. You heard right, this shark really does have a unique dual structure. The jaws can move far forward, making the animal even more deadly and frightening. Marabou stork. It is believed that storks bring children to families, but if this dog brought your child to you, you'd hardly be happy at all, because it looks like it's either very old, or very sick, or maybe both. However, marabou storks are simply unlucky with their looks. The specimens were showing you are completely healthy. However, such an unusual appearance was not given to the stork by accident. The fact is that it's a scavenger. That is, it feeds on dead animals, and the nature carefully removed the feathers from the head and neck of these birds so that they don't get dirty while eating. The strange pink thing you see on the stork's throat is a cool ass sack. The bird can rest his head on it. Previously, scientists believed that this bag was needed for storing food, but it turned out that the marabou males use it to attract females. Aardvark. When scientists first discovered this creature in Africa, they decided that it was a distant relative of the South American anteater. However, later it turned out that they belonged to a different species. The appearance of the aardvark is a product of evolution, because it also feeds on termites and ants. Actually, for the scientists, the aardvark is a real mystery, because its evolutionary origin is not yet being clarified. The appearance of the animal doesn't help to solve the problem either, because it looks as if the animals they have no relation to each other whatsoever were disassembled and then reassembled again. But randomly, the aardvark has an elongated pig-like face, the ears of a hare, and a strong kangaroo tail. Purple frog. It seems that, when nature is giving out the beauties of different creatures, this frog stood at the very end of the line, and didn't get any. Maybe it didn't even stand in the line at all, and its unusual appearance was made not by nature, but by the devil. This species was discovered relatively recently, only in 2003 in parts. This latest discovery is due to its very limited habitats. The purple frog lives only in India in the mountain chain of the Western Ghats, in an area that doesn't exceed 14 square kilometers, and that's it. You can't find them anywhere else on the planet, and most of the time, it lives underground, getting out to the surface for only 2 weeks or years to find a partner for breeding. In 2008, this frog was included in the list of the 20 strangest animals on the planet. And honestly, we kind of understand why. Soft-shell turtles. This creature, if you meet it on land, at first glance looks like an obese dwarf seal. This turtle differs from all of its relatives in that it has a soft body like the whole body. Even the shell, instead of being horny, is covered with leather. Such an unusual structure of the body is due to the fact that this species was discovered back in 1780 by P.S. Sunner as a researcher who worked on the west coast of Madagascar. Can you tell what kind of animal this is? After looking at it closely for a while, no, well, scientists couldn't either. There were long disputes about the stomatic position of the eye. It's because the peculiar structure of the teeth of these animals. They were first considered rodents, but then scientists came to the conclusion that they belong to a special group of lemurs. Besides the fact that the eye has an unusual and slightly intimidating look, his story is rather disappointing in the culture of the indigenous people of Madagascar. This little animal was feared like fire. It was believed that any person who injured or killed an eye would die in less than a year. Moreover, it's believed that the real name of the species in the Malagasy language is still unknown to science, as they are afraid to pronounce it out loud. For the same reason, the animal is completely not mentioned in their folklore. Red-lipped batfish. We have a lot of questions about this creature. For example, who allowed it to steal lipstick and use it to create such an ugly macupe? Or how come this fish? Just think about it. This fish can't even swim properly. We are absolutely serious. The red-lipped batfish is a fish that lives underwater, but can't swim. For movement, it uses its specially adapted pectoral fins. The problem is that it doesn't swing them in the water but runs them over the seabed like legs. The ridiculous growth that protrudes from its head is called an elysium, and it may seem that it's a bit like a fishing pole, most likely because it is a fishing pole. At the end of the growth is a leathery bag which looks very much like a worm. Small fish swim up wanting to feast on its buds. They fall directly into the rouge mouth of the batfish. Japanese spider crab. Here's another animal with an extremely ambiguous appearance. Is it a spider? Is it a crab? Is it a cross between them? For most likely the last option. The creature lives only in one place on the planet, on the coast of Japan. Despite the fact that the Japanese spider crab hasn't rather awesome look, don't be afraid of meeting it suddenly when you're in Japan, because it lives at a depth of 50 to 300 meters. The weight of adults can reach 40 kilograms. The length of just the body without the legs is 80 centimeters as well, and with the legs as much as 6 meters. The last arguments indicating the devilish origin of this animal is its incredibly long lifespan. The Japanese spider crab, if not caught by fishermen, lives up to 100 years. The black dragonfish. Black dragonfish are a type of bioluminescent fish that live in deep ocean waters. The females of the species have sharp, fang-like teeth and a long barbel that hangs from their chin. The barbel contains photophores, which produce light and act as a lure to attract prey. Adult female dragonfish can reach lengths of around 2 feet and have an eel-like resemblance. The males of the species are much less frightening than the females. They are much smaller than the females, have no teeth or barbel, and only live long enough to mate. If you like my video, don't forget like and subscribe my channel. Let us comments below.